What it do, family? So I know most of us original Americans, aka American Indians, know who this is behind me. If you don't know, this is Stanley Tookie Williams. He's one of the original Crips, one of the founder of the Crips, the West Side to be specific. But what I wanted to show y'all is what he said about his ancestry, his American Indian ancestry to be exact. Now, you know how we always telling people that we were reclassified many times, right? Let me show you something. So he says, because this was the 1950s in pre-civil rights Louisiana, my 17-year-old mother, a colored woman, was deprived of anesthesics as her torso was slit from her sternum to public bone. Cruel shit. You know, them hospitals wicked as fuck, and definitely to our people. But let's drop down to what he says. But I've always felt that the real adversity fell on my teenage mother because of her station in life, a black woman living in the South with very little money. Now let's take a look part of how he described her. Prior to my mother's pregnancy, she was well known as a track star. Her genes passed down to me. I could outrun my peers and many older youth. Standing at 5 feet 2 inches, she was a vision of loveliness with chocolate-hued skin and a shapely physique and long, silky black hair. We're not done. Let's talk about grandma real quick. He said this would stop after Walter hit a rock that smashed into my forehead. Blood gushed everywhere. My grandmother, mama, simply patched me up with some beech nut chewing tobacco, a trusted home remedy, and I was good as new. My stickball days were over. Now, that is an American Indian remedy. Most of the remedies you see today, definitely in the Americas, come from us and our people and our American Indian ancestors. Let's continue though. He went on to say, if you ever seen Beverly Hillbillies and a woman called Granny, you have a pretty good notion about mama's stature and style of dress. A beautiful Cherokee Indian, she was 5 feet tall, about 90 pounds, with whitish gray shoulder-length hair and a copper penny skin tone. They say we copper color Indians, right? Right. All right, this is the last thing, y'all. Now at the bottom, he said, I relish mama's home-cooked meals, especially her gumbo and sweet potato pie. The gumbo consisted of crabs, shrimps, oysters, clams, crawdads, chicken, mild and hot link sausages, okra, and gumbo filet. The taste was heavenly, etched forever in my taste buds. Her sweet potato pies were better than any store pies I ever tasted. And for y'all that don't know, sweet potato is indigenous to the Americas, just like yams. Then he said, there were times when mama would fall silent. The mention of my grandfather inevitably stopped her. He was a huge, muscular, loving, and pensive man who worked tirelessly on the railroad and held other jobs to support his family. He passed from overexhaustion. He worked himself to death. He left behind no pictures of himself. He didn't like taking them. My mother said he will fight you if you try to take a picture of him. Often my mother would tell me, if you want to know what your granddad looked like or your grandfather looked like, just look in the mirror. Since he loved mama as I did, there was no doubt I would have loved him too. Oh shit, I didn't even know y'all couldn't see it, but that's the part I was reading, y'all. Wait, don't they call this Indian braids, right? The same braids that our grandmamas wore growing up, and a lot of us, you feel me, they styled our hair into that shit. Yeah, you know, right in front of our face, just open your eyes. They say we ain't got culture, but the whole world copies our culture. From the best of our culture to the worst of our culture. We are the greatest.